Her background is nerd.
Darren should have gone to school here instead of Cutter, because you are a devil. I can tell you that right now.
She rolls in like she's a Hollywood movie star now. She just she's just here for the camera.
I guess I tooted.
No hard-hitting questions here.
Yeah,
Shall we talk about my one-sentence resignation?
Well, welcome to the next edition of Spill the Tea in Studio D. Very honored today to be in the Benton School District at Ringgold Elementary. Got some incredible guests today, and so we're excited to be here. Candy, anything you want to add before we get rolling?
No.
Okay,
we can
good.
carry on the conversation about me being the angelic one of the two of us that we had prior to starting the podcast, but maybe we shouldn't go there.
Yeah, what's it like in your world?
It's
you know what I'm saying?
wonderful in my world.
Right.
But excited to be at Benton. I spent 2 of my 30 years here. I was a facilitator, math science facilitator, secondary.
Okay.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Were you in this building too?
I was actually in the central office.
Okay.
And then most of my time I spent in middle school and the high school.
Okay.
So, but we're excited to be here and get to know you a little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah. Excited to have you
hear
here.
about Impact Arkansas.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, speaking of that, we'll introduce our guest, Mr. Kevin Beaumont with Impact Arkansas, and Chelsea Collins, I guess you would say a product of the program. So, So, Kevin, why don't you get it started? Let's do a couple of things. How about tell us about yourself, your journey in education, and then Impact Arkansas?
Sure. I am originally from Northeast Arkansas and was a
Where
teacher.
at up there?
I was all over Craighead and Poinsett County, really.
Mm-hmm.
Started in Brooklyn. Dad was a principal and a coach. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
kind of followed in his footsteps, but, moved around from schools because it's a love-hate job.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
They may love you for a while, but you start losing, then you're
Yeah,
out either way.
Absolutely.
So we moved from Brooklyn to Truman and then graduated from Art Tree.
Okay.
I went back as a teacher and
Gotcha.
a principal in Truman.
Okay.
And then
That's
stayed
awesome.
there for half my career
Yeah.
before a job opened up at the State Department. And that's when I made the move to Central Arkansas and came this way.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm familiar with the area, especially Truman, A-State graduate.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there was a reason to go to Truman on the weekends at the time. Jonesboro was dry, so
This is
we'll
true.
leave it at that.
This is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know really what you're talking about. So I'm, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm.
That's what I've heard.
That's what I've heard
too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Chelsea.
Let's just say
we're
that
not going to get the whole story.
My
but we
grades
know.
with my bachelor degree probably would denote that the first 2 cities I found was Truman and/or Harrisburg. And
Yes.
leave it at
Yes.
that. So, yeah. So Chelsea, what about you? Your journey here?
So this is my 14th year in education.
Okay.
I have done it all here at Benton School District.
Right.
I started as a kindergarten teacher at Angie Grant Elementary across town, and then bumped up to 5th grade math and science.
Right.
So I did that for 4 years and then moved into a math specialist role at Angie Grant. During that time, I applied for the Impact Fellowship Program and got in. After I graduated from that program, the next year I applied and became a district facilitator. So at Ringgold, I support ELA math and science curriculum with teachers. I'm housed just here, and then on Fridays I'm at the district office working on more math and science at the district level.
So basically what you're saying is you're having to undo all the trash that Candace brought to the table. I see what you're saying. I got
Absolutely
that.
not.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I don't know if they'll ever be able to undo.
She's K4.
I don't-
She's K4. I was
Hey.
5'12".
It doesn't matter. Hey, I know you butted right into everybody. So
We'll ask those secondary facilitators
That's
about
right.
that.
That's right.
But
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, okay, you'll find out I ain't wrong. Okay. So let's talk about Impact Arkansas. So give us kind of an overview of the program, and then Chelsea, if you will, maybe talk about your involvement and how it's impacted your career. How about that?
Impact Arkansas. It's a leadership preparation program through the University of Arkansas, strictly for high poverty schools around the state, funded by the Walton Foundation, Wingate Foundation, and some others. But it provides financial support, 90% discount right now for teachers who want to go back and get their principalship. So great program, building communities with Grow Your Own. candidates like Chelsea who wanted to stay here and grow Benton and grow this community and help those high poverty schools all around the state, make some improvements, and they're seeing great gains. And so we're really proud to be a part of the program.
So is it an online program or is it a mix?
It's a mix. We've got our professors on campus are providing online coursework.
Okay.
And then they come to Little Rock. We bring all the fellows to Little Rock for professional development, and then we do some coaching virtually as well. So it is a good mixture of some face-to-face, in-person, but predominantly online.
Okay. How did you get involved with Impact Arkansas?
Yeah, when I was at the State Department working in professional development, I would go to part of the Arkansas Leadership Academy, their institutes at that time.
Right.
And Dr. Amanda Lynn was facilitating those sessions. And whenever that was moving in that direction and I was leaving the State Department, this position opened up and got a chance to continue working with her and some great coaches in our team and Impact. So that drew me over. I really wanted to be a part of principalship, preparation at some point in my life, and this has been a great move.
Awesome. So Chelsea, how'd you hear about it, or what got you involved in Impact Arkansas?
So when I was working at Angie Grant, we had an email that came through from Impact that just kind of explained the program. I was cohort 4, so I feel like they've changed quite a bit, made it even better now.
Sure.
But got the email. I already had a master's before that in curriculum.
Right.
So I was not one that was like, yes, I'm doing this because I want to be a building principal.
Sure.
I actually think I remember on my application when they interviewed me, I said, I don't really have any aspirations to be a building leader in the administration level right now. But I was a math specialist at the time. I really wanted to just grow my skill set working with teachers at that time. I had a great relationship with all of my teachers at that point, but just learning new ways to coach them and work with them and help them reflect on their own teaching.
Right.
So I went into it wanting to just build my own skill set and how to support my building admin team at the time. And the program was amazing. Like he mentioned, you had weekly, monthly coaching calls with your coach. I laughed on some of those. I cried.
Sure.
We problem solved. It was just nice to have another person that understood what you were working on.
Right.
And was able to help you, not in a let me tell you what to do, more of a let's problem solve. And honestly, they modeled that reflective coaching with me to kind of help me problem solve on my own.
Right.
Where
that's great.
I've always said lately, and I think it's a quote from someone, but it's the answers in the room.
Right.
So I, at that time, feel like I always wanted to respond to a teacher when they had a problem and me come up with all the answers.
Right.
When in reality, that's not the expectation.
Right.
The answers in the room, we just got to work together to problem solve and reflect on how to get that. So the program was majorly online. We did have to go to the Leadership Institute when I went through. So it took a lot of support from my family to watch my children, things like that. But it was well worth it. I specifically remember doing online classes. My husband was working late hours, and I had a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old at the time. And so when I first applied, I was like, I am losing my mind. There's no way. But there was a few times that they would just be hanging out in the room with me while I was on the class. Just the instructors were so supportive and just knew that everyone was at home when we were doing these after school classes. The coaching calls were amazing. All of the projects that we had to do in the internship allowed me to work very closely with my building principal at the time and really see what it looked like in action.
Right.
Because your eyes can't be opened to what all they're having to put on their plate and handle just at the organizational level until you really are that close and walking alongside them so much.
Right.
And just to me, all of the projects that we did aligned with what I was doing. There was not a single project that I remember looking back thinking I will never use any of this.
Right.
So as far as difficulty, the program is difficult. I don't want anyone to go in thinking that it's just going to be a piece of cake.
Right.
You can't just do the work and get the grade in this program. It was very challenging. I had to kind of improve on my own skill sets with writing, and I thought I was a great writer.
Right.
And learned that no, I just needed to make some tweaks. Another thing I would just advise is that it allows you to build such a huge professional network
Right.
of
Well,
educators.
I was going to ask you
Yeah.
about that. Maybe talk about the importance of that cohort group. Again, like you say, the answer's in the room, but there's also comfort in the room when you get around other school people and know, hey, I'm not the only one going through some of these things.
Yeah.
Right. I think having people that were at different schools. I mean,
Right.
we all obviously were a high poverty school at the time, but everyone still had their own issues.
Sure.
And so when you were working on a project or something came up at your school, it was easy to just have a collection of 19 other people
Right.
to reach out to say, hey, this is going on at our school. Have y'all
Yeah,
experienced that?
exactly.
How have you, overcame that? And that was just a huge network. I
Right.
know when we came, sometimes it was us, and then the cohort before us was involved. And so you even got to hear from people that were a little further along in the program than you to
Right.
hear it's
Yeah.
going to be okay. You're going to make it.
Right, right.
Because some days you may have felt like you weren't
Yeah.
going to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like you're saying, sometimes going through these programs, like you're saying, with life happening in the background, and just somebody that you can sit down with, and they say, hey, we've experienced that, or I can remember having those same thoughts. It's pretty encouraging to have that group behind you.
Yes, it was very encouraging just to have other people that, and a lot of the assignments we worked together on,
Right.
they were just designed to
Sure.
be that way.
Mhm.
But everyone brought a different expertise to the table
Right.
because I know we had a PE teacher in ours,
wow.
and so it was amazing to just see the great work someone was doing
Right.
in all different areas, not
Oh, yeah.
just the classroom,
Sure.
even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Yeah.
The professional network that you build through this program is amazing.
Well, and I think another thing that you said was pretty important. The project or projects that you were working on were very, job related or relatable. So how do y'all go about choosing those projects? Is it something that is like district specific? Is that how that's laid out?
No, they're aligned to Ed Prep,
Okay.
so certification.
Right.
So that's, one thing, working with the university, making sure that we're meeting those standards.
Gotcha.
But then working with principals, working with AAEA, talking to
Right.
co-op officials, and finding out, exactly what principals are needing. And so that's
Right.
why it
Yeah.
continues to evolve every year, because the projects are getting more relevant
Yeah.
in their
Right.
buildings too. So
Yeah, and I think that's neat. Candace and I were having a conversation just before we got on the podcast here, just about some of the skill sets that are out there and that are needed. And the thing is, we've both lived it. When you become an administrator at the district level or a building level, there's not a lot of time. I mean, you truly are a lot of times building the plane as it's flying, and but that being said, in this day and age, it's baptism by fire.
Yep.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
For sure.
Going back to what you said about, you said, I never really want to be a building level leader. Yeah, those words came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And then I ended up being a principal. So
right.
I'm
yeah.
just saying,
It is.
God,
Oh, I know.
God's
Same
got a
here.
plan.
It's on my
you know.
radar now, but
Yeah.
back then it was not.
Yeah.
I had
Oh,
no want at all
Yeah.
to even I did not even consider it at
Well-
the time. And I think that may not be why I was in, but
Right.
I was very open with that from the beginning
Right.
of
Yeah.
I want to build my
Yeah.
skill set here,
And it
not
will
in
help.
that role.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it will help. And even just your experience as a facilitator, like I can't think if I hadn't had my experience as a facilitator and then an assistant principal, all of those roles helped me so much,
Right.
in that principalship.
Sure.
So, and it does
Right.
matter to get into a good program where you are learning some of the
Yeah.
things, and it's just not everything's online. You're just
Oh,
doing
yeah.
papers and turning it
Yeah,
in,
and
you're
I
actually
found it, much more. It's better for you to have the credentials and or the experience when opportunity knocks
Mhm.
versus
Sure.
that door swinging
Right.
wide open and they're like, well, so
Yeah.
I think that's a great approach. Again, I'm like Candace, when I got into admin, I just finished my principal stuff. I was excited about that. Ran into a buddy of mine at a meeting and they're like, hey, you going to become a superintendent someday? And I'm like, no desire to do that. And they're like, well, you better knock it out if you ever have that thought, because things are changing. And so at that time I did, thinking I'd never, ever use it. But again, you know,
Yeah.
again, God
never know.
came
Yeah.
a calling, the door swung open, and
Yeah.
dove right in. And about 6 months in, I was like, "What have I done?"
I honestly say more often than not, instead of developing principals, I'm developing leaders. And
Right.
so
Oh,
whatever
absolutely.
capacity you need
Right.
them in their
Yeah.
buildings. And so
Yes.
we have
Yeah.
several, just like Chelsea, that are not building principals right now, but I think it makes them better in leading
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
the capacity they're doing
It
it. So,
will.
mhm.
Yes.
Well, and I think it helps with the support probably of your building level administrators.
Sure.
You
Mhm.
guys, I mean, you can talk the same language,
Mhm.
you know, as you sit down and,
Right.
you know, with data. I mean, you look at that data set and, you know, having gone through probably some of those processes, you're able to get in there and take the data and make some meaningful moves with that data.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do think it prepared me even more for this role I'm in now at the district level.
Right.
Just to have those experiences and see that view from the principal's perspective too
absolutely.
allows me to kind of connect and understand where my principal's coming from
Right.
with some of the decisions that have to be made.
Yeah.
Different
yeah.
lens.
Oh yeah. So Kevin, you came from sounds like obviously your dad was a teacher coach. Was your mom education or?
No, Mom was a nurse. She was a registered
Gotcha.
nurse all her
Yeah.
life, and so, but you know, I think that's still both professions were pouring into caring
Yeah.
for people
Oh,
and
yeah.
supporting
Right.
people just in different ways. But
Sure.
that really, you know, admired both their careers, and I think that fit into what I
Right.
chose to do.
Right. So Chelsea, what about you? Educators in the family or?
Yes, I actually have a lot of memories of helping my aunt set up her classroom in
Okay.
Texas
Yeah.
during the summer. My dad is an instructor on the latent print side of things, not in
Gotcha.
the public education,
Sure.
but
Right.
he is an instructor, and my grandfather was an instructor.
Right.
I have an uncle that's an administrator, like
Right.
all
Yeah, it's in the blood.
lots of
That's
people
cool.
in
Yeah.
education in
Yeah.
a different realm.
Well, with that being said, I like to ask this question too. So, if you weren't in your current role or current profession, what do you think it might be?
Oh wow. I love what I'm doing. It's hard to see anything else unless I could get paid like hunting fish. I think that'd
Yeah.
be pretty cool. Play golf, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think
Good
about that one a
answer,
little bit.
Kevin.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
I think I would love to be an event planner of some sort.
Ooh, yeah.
That is
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
just love the organization of things.
Right. Yeah.
You probably can't tell by looking at my desk right now,
Yeah.
but
It looks pretty good.
It looks
Yeah.
remarkably clean
Yeah.
compared.
It looks
to
a lot
mine.
better than Darren's. That's what I was about to say. It looks a lot better
Yeah.
than Darren's.
Says
so.
Miss Type A.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I know. I can't help it.
We joke about it, but I've got a nameplate on my desk, and when she'll come in, she'll straighten it up, and the minute she leaves,
Yeah.
I'll push it back. So, yeah.
I mean, just it's who I am.
So how long has the program been in existence?
This is our 10th cohort we're
Oh,
in right
wow.
now. Yeah, 10
Okay.
years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, nearly 200
Wow.
candidates have graduated from our program. So, yeah, it's exciting to be going that long.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and I really feel like we have a deficiency in building level administrators looking, let's just say 5 years down the road. So we got to get them trained up.
Yep.
Mhm.
Got to get them convinced that it's a great place to be.
Right.
To me, and I've served as assistant principal, teacher coach, superintendent. But I really felt like, honestly, the biggest impact I had was at the building level.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
And so it's super important to go out and, number one, find the folks that have that desire or willingness. Again, not necessarily a principal, but at the building level. I
Mhm.
mean, you're affecting multiple kids every single day.
Right.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Duncan at AAEA is actually one of our adjuncts.
Oh, okay.
And so she's, has a vision for how to work
That's
with
great,
principals
yeah.
and superintendents across the state and grow. So we're proud to have her as part of our program
Yeah,
too,
that's
and that
great.
can kind of
Yeah.
see how
Yeah.
where the needs
Because
are.
then you can share the information through them through the cooperatives.
Absolutely.
Because I appreciate you, sending all of this stuff, coming
Mhm.
onto our meetings,
Yeah.
and just trying to
Oh, I love
get
it.
the word out.
Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I guess what's the length of the program? If somebody were out there interested in it, what kind of time investment are we looking at?
Well, time investment, just by length of the program, 18 months.
Okay.
Time investment, Chelsea could talk
Yeah.
more about what it takes to. It's a rigorous
Right.
program as far as at home and having that support system. But
Right.
18 months, they graduate with their master's in ed leadership from the University of
Okay.
Arkansas
Gotcha.
And now the practice is no longer needed, so they graduate right away with the principal certification.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, and the other part of that, when I say, time, obviously, 18 months is start to finish, but I think these types of programs, 100% is the more you put in, the more you get out, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
Right.
The more you connect with those projects
Sure.
and see how you can make them work at your campus, I think are better. Most of them are designed to where it just flows into what you're doing
Right.
on a daily basis anyway. So it's not, there are some where you're questioning people, things like that. So it does take a little extra outside of
Right.
it, but I don't remember it being feeling like it was a ton on top of it.
Sure. Right.
The coaching piece at first felt like a lot
Yeah.
because you just had to block off that time, and when you're busy it's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
But when you start seeing how helpful it is for you
Yes.
with the coaching, you realize that it was needed. You needed that coaching phone call.
And again, back to the projects and how meaningful they are. I mean, to me, that is another key component. Obviously, you are doing the work, but if you're able to pull it into what you're doing, I think that makes it probably a little easier to.
It does. I think it helped just evaluate some of the systems we had.
Right.
And it opened my eyes to things that were available for our school that I wasn't aware of.
Right.
Some of the projects were, but just really looking at our systems and what we have teachers doing, how we can involve parents more, just so many things that benefit a Title I school in general.
Right.
But just opening your eyes to all the resources that are available through those projects.
Right. And so let's talk about Title I school for just a second and some of the challenges probably that most folks don't really process that you may have in a Title I school.
Sometimes parent involvement is a problem, and that was one of our projects was hosting a parent involvement event. One of ours, it was, I can't remember exactly now how we did it. We did one of my examples was an online fact fluency night. And so we ran it through a Facebook page. It was a pretty big hit. I was actually at TLI when we decided to schedule it. So I was scheduling Facebook posts in the evenings when we had a kind of our downtime. But it was beneficial because it allowed parents that might have worked after school hours that couldn't get up there for a 6 to 7 o'clock parent night to go back and watch things afterwards. We had them scheduled where it would roll out at time, and then their kiddos brought the information home that day with them. So just really, I think it also helped you to think outside of the box. Because sometimes you want to schedule just a parent meeting, but the attendance may be low just because parents are working, or nowadays even kids have softball, baseball after school, and that schedule is so hard to work around with some parents. So just really thinking outside the box as to how to get the kids and parents more involved.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, just coming to school and having a conversation with an educator and or administrator at times can be somewhat intimidating. And to knock that wall down and to truly let them know, hey, look, we're in this thing together. I mean, that's, I laugh about it, as superintendent, as I reflect back on some of that. I'd have parents come in, in genuine concern for their kid or whatever. They're like, man, I'm a nervous wreck. It's the first time I've been in the office since I was in high school, kind of thing. And I'm like, hey, again, we're here to make it work. So this question for both of you. So if we'll start with you, Kevin. So if somebody's contemplating taking a look at this program, what would you say to encourage them?
To encourage them? Well, I mean, just by starting off, I usually push people towards our website and towards other cohort members if they're in their district, to talk to them and see what it is, get their perspective. If they're looking to enhance their leadership in whatever capacity they want to be, if they want to be a better teacher, a coach in their building, or a principal at some point, then I would start looking at my support system at home. That's a big conversation we have. And making sure that they sign a commitment to stay in their building and district for 2 years after they graduate. So if they are committed to their community, these are things that we look for in the application process and the conversations beforehand. Before we select them, to make sure they're the right candidate.
So how large is the cohort? I mean, do y'all have?
Yeah,
a-
how many do you
y'all have a-
select?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we changed this year, so we get funding every 3 years. In the past, it's always been 20,
Okay.
and so, but for the next 3 cohorts, we are recruiting 30 each
Oh,
time.
wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we'll
Good.
graduate 90 in the next 3
Well,
years.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
That's all.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
really good.
because
Yeah.
they're needed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you're watching in the website, I'm looking impactarkansas.uark.edu.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
In
right.
case they're wondering.
Yeah,
So-
thank you for that.
Hey, you finally got to read something in a
Yeah.
podcast.
I was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
yeah.
Here's the website. Yeah.
I drive her
Appreciate that.
nuts because I don't let her prepare anything. She-
My brain
yeah,
needs paper.
yeah.
My
Yeah.
brain needs
Yeah.
paper.
Look at it.
I do too.
So Chelsea, what about you? If you were to speak to a group of folks that are contemplating, looking at Impact Arkansas, what would you say to them?
I would say no matter, like Kevin said, what capacity you want to lead,
Mhm.
the program is good for anyone,
Mhm.
whether you
Mhm.
want to be a building level administrator or not.
Right.
Mhm.
You could even be a leader among your peers in your teacher
Right.
group.
Right.
I just
Yeah.
think that there's so many things that you will learn, you'll grow just as an educator in general. I also think that the professional network you leave with is amazing. I still reach out to people from my cohort when
Right.
Mhm.
things are happening across the state and you're like, okay, this is across the
Mhm.
state. I don't know what our system looks like yet.
Right.
And so you'll reach out to other people and they'll have ideas, or you can bounce ideas off one another. So just for the fact of growing yourself as an educator, as a leader, being more
Mhm.
comfortable in a leadership capacity.
Right.
Also opening up doors for your school because
Right.
you just learn different ways to better support your own campus, and just the network. I
Yeah.
think having
Well-
like-minded educators
Yeah.
to reach out to.
100%. And as Candace said, we're in our 30th year. The thing about that is, I mean, you make those connections, but the cool part about that is if, let's say some of your cohort, well, they'll say, well, I don't know specifically how to help you on that, but I do know another person.
Right.
And I mean, that's the thing about
Yeah.
the education profession in the state of Arkansas. Probably one of the largest, I would say, in the state of Arkansas would be educators. But when it's all said and done, everybody's fairly close.
Mhm.
When it's all
Sure.
said and done,
Yeah.
that's the thing that I really have enjoyed over the years is really building, like you're saying, my network. Because I feel like I'm in a pretty good position now. If somebody calls with a question, between Candace and myself, we'll know somebody
Mhm.
that can at least get us on the trail we're
Right.
trying to sniff out.
Yeah.
So,
Kind of goes back to what you said, Chelsea, about when you have that networking, the answers in the room. So
Right.
somebody's going to be able to help
Yeah.
you
Right.
out.
There have
Yeah.
been several occasions where we've had a question and I'm like, I don't know that, but I know a
Right.
person in Impact
Mhm.
that I've
That's right.
seen doing that on
Yeah.
Right.
Facebook.
Mhm.
And so you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
easily reach out on
Yeah.
Facebook and find them
Yeah.
and ask them how
Yeah.
they did it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I would say over probably the last 10 years, 5 for sure. The thing about education in Arkansas, it's truly a partnership with districts and professionals. Back in the day, it used to be this, almost a competition, and sometimes it would get down to the have and the have-nots. But I even think some of that's been washed away from the standpoint of everybody realizing the importance of, let's say, literacy and some of these things, how we get to our, ESL students, those kinds of things. So it's been kind of cool to watch that evolve. And I think programs like this they expose so much
Yeah.
to folks and really pushes you to think, wouldn't you say?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Just knowing we're all experiencing the same exact thing
Right.
in a public school at the state level.
Right.
And so just knowing that you have people that
Mhm.
you can connect with
Mhm.
Right.
and figure out what's going to work
Yeah.
for everybody's
Yeah.
campuses.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Like I say, becoming a new leader of it's intimidating at times from the standpoint of you think, man, I've got to know everything right now.
Mhm.
And I think programs like this really benefit that mindset of you really don't.
No,
Mhm.
There's
still learning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing about this profession that I've absolutely loved. Every year, I continue to learn. So,
Mhm.
for instance, like I've hired Candace twice. I wouldn't do it a third time. That
Yes,
took
he
me a
would.
while.
He's
He says that. Oh, yeah.
He's
He
lying.
he
Yeah.
lies.
So,
He's a pathological liar.
yeah. So, yeah. But
Just kidding.
yeah, and the thing I would say too, we've been in it 30 years. We actually student taught together. Only
Mhm.
difference is she dyes her hair. I chose not to.
I do not dye. I do
so,
not dye my hair.
yeah.
He says that
Yeah.
all the time, and I'm like, I have this
Uh.
gray streak right back
Tell, I
here.
know.
Yeah.
It is not dyed.
Yeah.
I really probably should dye this gray streak brown
It's
back
in the
here.
bag.
Oh, no,
but,
it looks
you
great.
It's fine.
I
Yeah.
just blended it in. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Man, you can tell when we're among friends and not family. Family don't sugarcoat anything. So, on a personal side, you have how many children?
I have 2.
Okay.
At the time, a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Okay.
Oh,
So
wow.
it at first was very overwhelming at the
Right.
thought of.
Sure.
But I just want to encourage people to know how much support is built into the program.
Right.
I know one specific at ALA, I had to leave in the middle of the night because I had a sick kid.
Sure.
Mhm.
And it was, you worry about your family first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want people to know that
Right.
they are understanding and they
Yeah.
know if you have children,
Yeah.
things are going to happen.
Mhm.
But as long as you are on a regular basis of getting your assignments done,
Right.
not I will say it's very serious. and
Sure.
you have to take it seriously.
Right.
It's
As it should be. So,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. And I
Right.
think with it being so competitive to get into the program,
Right.
it has to be that way.
Oh, absolutely.
But all that to say, I felt so supported in the program with the staff, with the educators that, we worked with in their classes, amongst my peers and my cohort fellows. Just the amount of support that was there is unreal in a
Oh, yeah.
program like that. I've never
Sure.
experienced that before.
Yeah.
In my previous masters, I don't even
Yeah.
know that I knew many people in my
Right.
classes
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
you didn't get the chance to develop those
Mhm.
relationships
Right.
and work so closely with people.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, and the thing again, like I say, what an incredible opportunity, and a lot of people out there, they're at that what if stage, and I always encourage them. At some point, you've got to go from what if to what the hell, and just dive in the deep.
Do it.
You,
Just
you
do it.
have to,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
if you just keep waiting and waiting, you're going to have regrets, and
Yeah.
but I've never been one. I mean, I really try to follow that philosophy of no regret. I mean, if it's something you feel like, I mean, God's stirring it up in you for a reason. I guess I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
well, let's take some time now.
Oh, now the hard hitting questions.
Oh, the hard-
Here they come.
Yeah.
Here they come.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just start with a simple one, like if you had a Mount Rushmore of influencers to get you into the profession, or where you are, prop you up in life, who would those folks
Oh,
be?
wow.
Yeah, that's not
Oh.
a simple one.
Yeah.
But
That isn't a simple
I told
one.
Darren, I was like, I can't come up with. I'd have a
That's
lot
fine.
more than 4. My Mount Rushmore would have to have about 15 people.
Start
on
us
it.
off so I know how you're answering this.
No, I don't. I'm just saying. I mean,
Oh.
obviously my parents, my
So
mom.
who are we putting up on a pedestal?
Mhm.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
people that
Ooh.
really have impacted you, supported you to put you where you are today.
Yeah.
Well, within the program specifically, I would say Allison and Jill,
Yeah,
our
your
coaches.
coaches.
Right.
Just the amount of support and understanding they had
Right.
when you're crying with them on a coaching phone call because
Right.
you're completely taken back by a grade you
Sure.
got. Because honestly, this is the first program I've ever scored lower than a B in.
Right.
And
yeah.
so when you get an assignment back, it's
Yeah.
it's a shock.
Right.
But I
Mhm.
think that they do it to make you realize
Right.
we're not showing you this to make you feel bad. We're showing
Right.
you this to make you realize we're
Mhm.
about to put in the work.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so just also their expertise that they have, coming from their backgrounds, they just brought so much of it into the conversations with our
Sure.
own coaching.
Right.
Just I feel like forever I could reach out to them if I had a question or something that I needed, and they would be right there.
Right.
And so I
Yeah.
think having that amount of support in the leaders in the program just
Right.
speaks volumes.
Okay. All right. So that's 2. Who's the other 2?
Oh gosh, I
Yeah.
need 4.
Yeah, that's Mount Rushmore.
Her Mount Rushmore could be
Oh,
2. I mean,
gosh.
But then it would be
It
Mount
would-
Rush.
Well,
Right.
Let's
It
think
could be
about
10.
it.
Yeah.
It could be personal too, like just
Right, for
anybody
sure,
that's
for sure.
kind of invested in you for your
Prob-
path.
Probably my husband
Absolutely.
and then my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I know
okay,
that's
good.
adding another one.
No,
Mhm.
no.
But
we'll
It's your
get-
Mount Rushmore.
well,
It's fine.
hey,
Yes.
parents will call 1. So,
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So my husband, I feel like throughout
Mhm.
this program,
Sure.
just was so supportive. He had to stay at home with my kids
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
long and get them to and from everywhere, which is
Mhm.
what I'm usually doing.
Right.
So for him to just make that work, and my
Sure.
parents kind of doing the same thing, but just
Yeah.
encouraging me because
Yeah.
it wasn't an easy program.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
having to work after hours of being all day at school was
Mhm.
difficult.
Right.
So just having them behind you saying, "You've got this. You're gonna do
Right.
it,"
Mhm.
Yeah.
just meant so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, your turn.
Well, I think my wife's listening, so I was going to make her just my
Oh.
one
Good
face on the
answer,
map.
good
She's
answer.
been,
Yeah.
she's been supportive.
That's right.
She's followed me around, it's
Right.
figuratively and literally
Right. Oh, yeah.
around this state in different positions and doing different things in education. So she's definitely there. I had some great teachers and coaches. My junior high football coach Keith Watson, he'd be there.
Right.
Just a great man that I think really poured into me at
Sure.
a young age in
Absolutely.
junior high. You know, wow. I've had some great bosses. I think I'd put Dr. Duncan on there. She's probably one of my most favorite supervisors to ever work for. Just
Right.
a brilliant woman and fun to work with, and just a huge vision.
Right.
My dad.
Okay.
My
Yeah.
dad, I think.
Yeah.
Dad was a coach and educator, as I said, and just instilled that in us for a long time. So, I think those would be my four.
Yeah. So obviously, Dad was a coach. Did you play for him? I mean,
I did.
yeah.
Did.
What was that like?
That was not fun.
Oh, yeah,
You
'cause
got
you
it
got it at home
everywhere.
and at
Yeah.
school.
Everywhere in the same way for coaching and being a principal.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
always that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, my
Yeah.
daughter I was her principal for 1 year,
Yeah.
and then the kids, like, she was an 8th grader and
Uh-huh.
didn't even acknowledge
Yeah.
me. She likes no attention on herself. So
Yeah.
the
That's
kids
who
were
that
like,
woman is.
your mother got me for dress code. Your mother.
Yeah.
She would come home upset. I said, look, you go back to school tomorrow and you say, you should try to live with her. And then you need to tell them, do you think I can control my mother? And so
Right.
that's what she
Right.
did, and they quit.
Yeah.
Left her
Yeah.
alone after
Yeah.
that.
I'm like,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Oh.
and probably one of my best years was my son's senior year, because that's when I went to the co-op and was dad, and not like you're saying, administrator, what have you. So yeah, I get that. So you do a lot of driving around,
I do.
and
I do.
so if we hopped in your car, what are we gonna find on your playlist? What's gonna be?
I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to y'all's podcasts a lot, and
must
a
be
lot of true
bored.
crime. Well, a lot of true crime right now.
Yeah.
My wife likes true crime, so we
Yeah.
listen to that a lot of times.
Yeah.
And if it's music, it's probably going to be some old country music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what are you
old
saying?
country.
Old, like.
Well, that's true.
70s,
Yeah.
80s?
Now it's classic.
Yeah.
Is that really classic?
Are you
Yeah.
talking like
Yeah.
Merle Haggard? Or are you
Yeah.
talking like
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
The good stuff.
The good stuff when
That's
country
right.
was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was blessed to be in country radio in the 90s. So, it's funny to see the country scene kind of roll back to that sound
Right,
now.
right,
So,
yeah.
Back.
Listen,
Yeah.
country's still
Yeah.
good.
It's
Yeah.
still good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Don't be judging the current
Yeah.
country.
Okay, well, I'm just going to throw this out there. Shabuzi ain't country.
That's not
okay,
country.
That's what I'm
Listen,
gonna
I
say.
like Shabuzi.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I
Yeah,
do.
But he ain't
I-
country.
well,
I don't mind him.
He kind of can be country.
It's
Yeah.
like if I can't get
current
a hit,
country.
if I can't get a hit in another genre, I'm going to jump into country, because the country music listeners are so loving and supporting.
Is Beyonce country?
I like
Oh,
Shabuzi.
Lord, no.
Shabuzi's on my
No.
playlist.
Yeah, what about that? What do you feel about Beyonce being country?
I mean, I like
No.
Beyonce, but
Yeah.
it's probably more hip hop country-ish.
Yeah.
But I like hip
So
hop
she-
too, and
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
So,
So you're
I like
saying-
Beyonce.
So you support that she won country music
sure.
artist in the
Sure.
Grammys?
Listen,
that's because
It
you
doesn't
ride.
affect me.
That's true.
That's because you
I'm
ride.
like, go for it.
That's because you ride the fence.
Yeah.
You don't want to make anybody upset. But
Yeah.
she ain't country either. So Chelsea, what do you listen to?
Oh gosh, well I always have an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old in my
Oh,
car,
okay.
so the
Gotcha.
podcast don't
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Right.
I was asking someone the other day for some good kid-friendly ones.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's not
honestly,
kid-friendly.
my 11-year-old picks the radio stations a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Forrest Frank is one of her favorites
Uh-huh.
now, so
Uh-huh.
she's listening to that all the time.
Right.
Or country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. Yeah.
Cool.
Really, whatever she's feeling that afternoon.
Right.
She'll just click a station and scroll through.
Sure.
It was
yeah.
Radio Disney for
Yeah.
us for so long. I
Oh,
didn't even
it
know
was
what
for a
was
long
current
time.
for.
Yeah.
didn't
You're
know what was.
Yeah. That's. I can
You know that
remember
artist?
those
You know
things.
that song? I never heard of that. It's
No.
Radio Disney.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah.
It's funny. Her dad will drive my car and turn
Right.
it to the point,
Right.
and we'll get in it, and she's like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
Good music.
Yeah,
That's what
right,
that
that's
is,
right.
honey.
And you're
Yeah.
like, you need to
Yeah.
learn the classics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some of the classics.
So,
Yeah.
so what do you do in your downtime as mom and wife and administrator? What do you
Gosh.
like to do? I'll do it that way. How
In
about that?
in my downtime, we like to travel.
Mhm.
We have a camper,
Oh yeah.
so we're
Yeah.
at the lake a lot.
Right.
Just anything, spending time with my family, friends.
Mhm. Gotcha.
Um, and my kids. They're with me constantly. We've
Right.
always got the kiddos with us.
Yeah.
So anything that just gets them outside, kind of
Right.
off the TVs and
Yeah.
things like
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Kevin, what about you?
We just bought a camper.
Oh, wow.
And so
Yeah.
yeah, we're hitting the road. We just hit our 52nd state park. We hit them
Oh,
all.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
It took us
wow.
2
Awesome.
years, but we hit
Yeah.
every state
Okay.
park, and
That's
so
awesome.
yeah, we're having a lot of fun doing that.
So, what
Cool.
was the most recent one that you hit?
Well, we let's see, we went to Lake Village and
Okay.
win.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We were doing some site visits over there in that region, and says let's just take the camper with us and we'll make a long weekend of it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we
Cool.
stayed over there.
That's
Yeah,
so fun.
yeah.
So you're getting a T-shirt. You getting a T-shirt?
Yeah, we got the 52 T-shirt. Yeah,
Oh,
All right.
oh,
Yeah.
so the T-shirts out there if you hit them all.
that's right.
If you hit them all, you
Okay.
get a
That's right.
T-shirt. I think
Yeah.
there's some
That's neat.
landmarks along the way.
Yeah,
you
we
can
got some
get, right?
stickers and some decks of cards. I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
and
work
the
on
T-shirt
that
was
one
a big
day.
one.
We've
Yeah,
got the passports.
Yeah.
We just
Right.
keep forgetting
Oh, it's
to
fun.
bring
That's
them
on
with
the
us.
fun.
list.
Yeah.
It's on the
That's
list
on the
eventually.
Yeah.
It'll
Wow.
take us longer
Beautiful.
than 2 years.
Oh,
I'm
for
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I learned something today.
Yeah,
Right?
me too,
You
because
know,
I didn't know that.
Been
That's
there,
cool.
been there, got the T-shirt.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Did it.
Okay.
Did it.
Yeah. Well, good for
Beautiful
y'all.
parts of the state.
Yeah. So where
Oh.
is home now for you? Is
I live here in Bryant. Just
Okay.
yeah,
I
down the
gotcha.
road.
Okay.
yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah.
Close.
Pretty centrally located for the
Mhm.
traveling.
It
that you
is.
do.
Yeah, it makes it
Right.
nice. Makes it
Yeah.
nice.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you guys taking the time to jump in here with us
Mm-hmm.
today. And man, and again, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate the work you're doing.
Yes.
And the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
You know, building
Trying
the
to
next
build them.
generation.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
that again, we see it. We have 2 4-year universities right down the road from us, and we get the privilege a lot of times of going and talking to people either in the profession, considering the profession, and all those kinds of things. And like I say, the biggest thing for us is, I mean, we need good people that love kids, and everybody at this table understands the fact that teaching truly is a calling.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And when
For
I
sure.
say teaching, it
Teaching,
includes
leading,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
everything.
whatever it is, yeah.
because you know you got bunches of eyeballs on you every day. It's just like walking in, man. I love that the kindergartners were having lunch, and
Yeah.
and I was dragging around, but made the mistake of telling one boy, I said, "Hey man, eat that broccoli, it'll give you big muscles." And he said, "Feel this muscle." And guess what happened? I
They
ended
all-
up
you
feeling
had to
the
feel 'em all?
muscles.
Yeah.
Of course you did.
Girls and boys alike. And I was like, "Yeah, eat your broccoli."
Yeah.
Although I hate broccoli. But,
We won't tell them that.
No,
No, they
no.
won't. They're
Tell
not going to
them.
watch
I was
it. They
just
won't
praying
know.
to God nobody offered me some. But
You
yeah.
would have eaten it, and you would have faked it,
Yeah,
and you would
you're
have
right.
liked
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah. So, but we appreciate y'all taking
Yes,
the
we've
time
enjoyed
and,
it.
and keep doing the good
Yeah.
stuff that you're doing.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank
All
you
right.
all for having us.
You
Yes,
betcha.
of course.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Spilling the Tea in Studio D.